Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 2018 Alumni of Distinction. Tonight is the 26th annual Alumni Distinction Gala Dinner honoring 5 amazing people. These are people who have done amazing things in their journey from leaving the seats at St. Clair College a few years ago, a little bit of more time ago, and some a long time ago. But each of them are unique in their story, but again, a special night for us as part of St. Clair College, that we are able to celebrate their journey and where they are today. So I want to welcome everyone. I'd like to introduce our 2018 Alumni Distinction Award recipients, and don't go crazy, we just want you to stand, and don't all the cheering sections for everyone, but just stand so everyone can see where you are. First, Matt Beaumayer, graduate of the Animation Tradigital program, over there, the Tuninator. Adriano Chodley from Windsor Eats, graduate of the Computer Systems Networking program. Robin Greeno, a graduate of the Early Childhood Education program. Pam Leszewski, a graduate of the Nursing program. And under the S, Tony Savoni, a graduate of the Industrial Engineering Technology program. Tonight, I'd like to introduce the senior team of St. Clair College who are with us tonight. Patty France, our president. Dolph Barsanti, Vice President of Student Services and Administration. Joe Sirianni, Vice President of Human Resources. Wasim Habash, Vice President of Academic. And Mark Jones, Chief Financial Officer. Administration in attendance tonight, Dr. Ken Blanchette, Associate Vice President of Academic. Randy Semenik, Chair of our School of Community Studies. Jim Marsh, Chair of our School of Business and IT. Mark Benoit, Chair of School of Academic in Chatham, our Chatham campus, right over there. Ann Hetherington, our Director of Marketing and Recruiting. And a special group, the Alumni Board that are in attendance tonight. Tom Malenfant, our President. Lindsay Levecki, Executive Vice President. Jennifer Forfeit. There she is. Lori Chartler-Pozlov. And of course, Ryan Peebles. At this time, I'd like to introduce the President of St. Clair College to welcome all of us. Our President, Patty France.
Thank you, John. It is a great pleasure to be with you this evening to congratulate this year's Alumni of Distinction Award recipients on behalf of St. Clair's administration, indeed on behalf of the entire St. Clair College family. The professional achievements and community contributions of our 5 honorees make them examples that all of us would do well to emulate. What makes me especially proud, however, is that 6 weeks from now, the example of those achievements and contributions will be presented firsthand to our graduating students. For many years, the college has been honored and thrilled to have our Alumni of Distinction recipients as our guest speakers at our annual convocation ceremonies. Our graduates benefit from their inspirational messages as they depart the school and head off on their own journeys towards success. If I might be so bold as to suggest a theme to Matt, Adriano, Pam, Robin, and Tony for those impending speeches, I think the convocation audiences would love to hear about the greatest challenge each of you have experienced in your career and how you have dealt with it, or perhaps how you came to a fork in the road during your life and had to choose one path versus another, or maybe how you dared to do something that was entirely out of your comfort zone at some point for either professional advancement or personal growth. And I'm suggesting that for two reasons. First, because I know that all individuals who have accomplished remarkable things in life have had such memorable moments. So, in that regard, I hope I'm giving you topics for easy speech writing. And second, because I think it is important to emphasize such experiences to our students and our graduates. As we set off on our careers, we often naively believe that we will be on a completely straight, linear path of an entry-level job to assistant, to manager, to director, to vice president, to president, to retiree. As our convocation guest speakers, you serve as an opportunity for the college to correct that misconception, to highlight the obstacles, complications, detours, tough decisions, setbacks, job changes, and yes, even the struggles that we all encounter along the way, and how handling of such challenges and adversity is truly what leads to and defines our success. Oh, and if you could, work something in there about the fundamental skills and work ethics instilled by your St. Clair education, that would be great as well. Regardless of what you talk about, I'm certain that this year's graduates will be happy to hear from you, and more so to witness 5 individuals whose success stories all included a first chapter entitled, My Years at St. Clair College. Tonight is certainly not the conclusion of those stories, because I'm certain that our alumni of distinction tonight, being honored, may have many more distinguished achievements ahead of them. But I do hope that tonight will be one of the highlights of your life stories to date, because it is truly an expression of our admiration for you as a St. Clair College graduate, as leaders in your professional fields, and as individuals. Congratulations once again to the recipients, and to everyone else this evening. I do hope you enjoy the hospitality of the St. Clair College Center for the Arts. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, hang on a minute. Okay, next, I'd like to introduce the Mayor of the City of Windsor, our Mayor, Drew Dookins. Just for Kojiko, your TV. And now I'd like to introduce...
It's always helpful to bring your speech up to the podium. Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? It's 80 degrees this weekend in Windsor. Isn't that a beautiful view? $1 million view. Spring, summer is finally here. I really like working with Patty France, but I always know I'm at a Patty France event when the glitter podium is out. And the glitter podium is out tonight. So it's absolutely wonderful to be here with all of you. You know, accomplishment will prove to be a journey, not a destination. And these are the words offered by former U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and they really reflect the essence of why we're gathered here this evening. Tonight we are celebrating the accomplishments of 5 very deserving St. Clair College alumni. Matt, Robin, Adriano, Pam, and Tony, you're joining the ranks of over 100 honored graduates who have been recognized by the Alumni Association for not only your academic accomplishments, but for the success and contributions you have made to enhance the quality of life in your community. I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you on your accomplishments tonight. Thank you for being here, and thank you, St. Clair College, for all you've done for over 50 years and 100,000 graduates in our community. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, next I'd like to introduce Mayor Ken Antea from the town of LaSalle, who is just going to give quick greetings from the County of Essex.
On behalf of the County of Essex, the town of LaSalle, this is something that St. Clair College is a staple in our community. It's something that it gives an option to everybody in becoming so well entrenched in our business community that the first thing they ask you is, did you go to St. Clair College? So on behalf of the town of LaSalle, the County of Essex, thank you for everything that you do for our community. Thank you.
Boy, that's pretty good. You tell the guy's not running again, eh? Just shooting everybody on from the hip. I can hardly wait till Santos shows up. Won't that be a story? Looking for the Portuguese soccer match. We'll just send him to the other room. But again, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. Now I'd like to introduce our MP for Windsor-Tecumseh, Cheryl Harcastle. No one using the steps.
Good evening, everyone. So, you know, I'm here because I can't pass up a glitter podium. So I just wanted to make sure that I was here to convey what an inspiration it is for me to be able to come home and attend events like this that are not just inspirational, but are grounding for me in the work that I'm doing when I'm in the bubble in Ottawa. So to Matt and Adriano and Robin and Pam and Tony, you probably already realize that as well as being trailblazers, one of the reasons that you're being recognized today is because intrinsically you understand that you are inspiring and you are mentoring people that you may not even know consciously that you're doing that. And I think that's extremely important. The kind of institutional foundation that St. Clair College has been in this community is very much like that. There are so many people that have learned and been influenced because of St. Clair College to be trailblazers, to be innovative, to appreciate even the small contributions that they're making in a community, and understanding that it does become something with a larger and more profound impact. That's an important thing that we're celebrating here tonight too, and I'm really, really pleased to be here and partake in it. So once again, congratulations to all of you, and to the people who are with you that are also celebrating that kind of inspirational spirit. Thank you. Okay, so I'll take this here.
Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate that. And now our MPP from Chatham-Kent, Essex, Rick Nichols, also alumni of the college.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am very fortunate that I have an office in Leamington, because I was out around Pelee Island and Wheatley today looking at the damage that has been done by the winds of a few weeks ago, and then had an opportunity to kind of view the damage that was kind of being done on the west side of Pelee this afternoon. So having had my office there, I was able to step in there and make a quick change, and here I am. I thought, boy, oh boy, I just hope Highway 3 is, the traffic is good. First of all, I want to extend my congratulations to our individuals who are receiving the specific award of distinction. And of course, I just had to be here because, of course, bringing greetings from the great riding of, don't be offended here, of Chatham-Kent, Essex. Robin is from our area, and again, so pleased when I found out that you were an award winner as well. Don't be disgruntled to the other ones who as well, because I know you're very excited about this as well. You know, St. Clair College, this is the 26th year for the Alumni Award of Distinctions. I was here for the 20th and the 21st, all the way up to the 26th. The 20th happened to have been my very first year serving as the MPP for Chatham-Kent, Essex. And I looked back and I said, 20 years, wow. It was 40 years that I had graduated at that time. And not that anybody was doing the math. But you know what? I'm so proud of St. Clair College. I've seen it grow over the years. And of course, now in Chatham, we have Thames Campus, and it's very exciting, and the things that are going on down there as well. You know, Patty and Mark and everyone else who's affiliated with the building of, and I say the building of Thames Campus in Chatham. It's going to get bigger, and it's going to even get better. I know that might sound hard to believe, but Chatham, well, you know what? Chatham's been hit hard for manufacturing, but we hope that it picks up and gets a lot better. I only have about, I think, let's see, what's today, the 4th? So I guess I have maybe 5 more days where I can actually say I'm the MPP of Chatham, Kent, Essex.
All right.
But was that the hook, John? But then it'll be Chatham, Kent, Leamington. Chatham, Kent, Leamington. And of course, you know, everybody knows what's going on June 7th. So get out and vote. It's important that you vote. It's important that you vote. What's your favorite color, John?
What's that?
What's your favorite color?
You want me to say blue?
Good answer. Good answer. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, John. Thank you.
And when Cheryl asked me, it was orange, and when Nelson asked me, it was going to be red. So, anyways, it was nice. Nice to hear you, Rick, when you said that you were hoping for a quick change coming. Oh, I'm sorry, when you were in the thing. So, anyways, we're glad you're here. Thank you. Most importantly, we are glad to have our Board of Governors here tonight. We'll introduce a few of them to you a little later, but our Chair of the Board of Governors, Dan Allen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we welcome the newest members of the St. Clair College Alumni of Distinction family. For the past 26 years, we have recognized the achievements and the contributions of former students who have excelled in their vocation and contributed to their community. Tonight's award winners have each been on a unique journey, and their stories all began at St. Clair College. This year's recipients have improved healthcare, technology, community, tourism and hospitality, business, and the economy. Over the past 50 years, St. Clair College has positioned itself as a leading post-secondary institution. Each student receives a unique repertoire of practical skills and knowledge that they can build on as they prepare to enter the workforce. Our college alumni of distinction recipients have used the solid foundation to propel themselves forward. They have also provided inspiration for the future generations of St. Clair College alumni. Tonight, we celebrate each award winner's accomplishments. Their stories, each one individually crafted and molded, now belong to the catalog of success at St. Clair College. So on behalf of the Board of Governors of St. Clair College, I congratulate each of our Alumni of Distinction Award winners on their outstanding achievements as we recognize the hard work and dedication that continues to provide strong evidence that you can start here and go anywhere. Please enjoy your evening.
And finally, the president of the Alumni Association, Tom Mellenfont.
Thank you, John. Good evening, everybody. Before I start, I'd like to ask all of the alumni that are in the room to please stand. If you're an alumni of St. Clair College, please stand. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. Thank you very much. So these people are part of over 100,000 people who, like myself, are very proud to call St. Clair College home. Tonight we're here to recognize 5 very unique individuals. And we gather not only as an alumni community or a college community, but as a broader community from every walk of life, and communities both near and far. We have some students here tonight, And I hope that, first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming. And I hope that tonight you find the stories that come from these alumni of distinction inspiring. I hope they inspire you to pursue your dreams, whether those dreams are further education or through other avenues. What you should know is that your dreams will be easier to achieve once you finish this strong foundation at St. Clair College. All of our alumni of distinction winners tonight have taken the foundation that they received at our college and they have built upon it, and it has assisted them in getting where they are today. So on behalf of the entire alumni family, the board of directors, I'd like to say congratulations to each of you. Your hard work and dedication has enhanced the lives of all of us, and we are proud to honor you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, what we enjoy coming to the Alumni Skyline Room for is our food. We talked about this has got to be, President, am I right? This has got to be the final of the 50th events, please. We've been celebrating and celebrating. This is the final thing because everyone graduated, started in 1967 in September, so the graduation would be 50 years ago. And so this is kind of a big night for us to kind of close this off. And for those of you knowing the history, it was 10 years ago this past year that we received this facility from the City of Windsor. And I think we've done a good job with it, haven't we? The St. Clair College Center for the Arts. So it's time to do what we do very well here. Let's eat. So welcome everyone, and we'll be back a little later. Thank you. Tonight we also want to identify some other people who are in attendance tonight. From our Board of Governors, you've met Dan Allen, our chair, Dr. Ken Blanchette. Just stand where you are. Ken Blanchette, Patrick McMahon, Kevin Baudouin, Bob Reno, Renu Koshila, sorry, did I do that okay? And Dan Wilson, who is our former chair of our Board of Governors, is here tonight. Representing our Foundation Board of Directors, Charlie Hotham, our president, Jody Cloutier, our vice president, and member also Dave Moncourt. Also from our student body, our Student Representative Council, our president, Holly Nicholson, and fellow board members, please stand. Our Student Athletic Association, President Laura Walker, and their fellow board members. And from our Chatham campus, our Thames Student Incorporated, President Zach Rank, and his fellow board members. And now the Alumni of Distinction, past. Lynn Martin. Right over there, Lynn Martin. Liz Ferrano, stand up where you are. Liz Ferrano, Nick Brancaccio, Shelley Ann Corp, Frank Mocheri, Tracy Bailey, Jill Foster, John Ladarsky, Kay Douglas, Roseanne Denise, David Selleck, Tony Haddad, Chef Vincenzo Del Duca, Robert DeMaio, Judy Robinette, Dave Garrett, and Elaine Maloney. That's our Alumni of Distinction, paving the way for tonight. We'd like to thank our sponsors tonight. Yvonne Brady and Scott Wilkerson are here. Those are our sponsors from Johnson Insurance for being tonight's dinner sponsor. Thank you for being here. There you are. Thank you. Thank you for the Alumni Association and the board here for being the key sponsor tonight. And of course, thank you to TV your TV, truly local, who will be airing tonight's award ceremony at a later date. Imagine starting your career at St. Clair College. You have a father who, very talented and creative, who buys you a set of nice drawing pencils, not just the Laurentian type, but real artist pencils, and throws a banana in front of you and says, "Here, draw." From there, goes to high school, comes to St. Clair College, and one of the first things he does on his way is this. As a student, he does a caricature of all of the student government. This is the beginning of the Tuninator. On this caricature, we have Don France, Ryan Peebles, Lindsay Levesque, and Justin Fox. The story began, like many stories you're going to hear tonight, as simple as this. Watch.
So I grew up in Tecumseh, Ontario, born and raised, family of 5. I have an older brother and a younger sister. My father was very artistic. He was more of a fine artist, loved his pastels and his, he used to teach airbrushing, and I grew up watching him draw. So I always had that passion to be able to create something visually out of thin air. So after all this special treatment that I was given in high school and elementary school, I really felt like art was the thing I should pursue. So I decided to jump on the traditional animation program at St. Clair College, which ended up being a fantastic choice. And the program was fresh and young, and we had young teachers like Richard Moy, who at the time was teaching the basics of animation, hand-drawn. Ron Kilbride, who was coming from Disney, he had just started teaching the year I started, and he had this energy about him where he could get the students excited talking about his days at Disney. So after graduating from St. Clair College, so I actually took a job working for minimum wage at Canada's Wonderland as a caricature artist. And so I started doing that and became a lead caricature artist, and I was running a team of about 10 artists who would kind of work throughout the park. Later, I would realize how valuable that was to my my career, but at the time, I just thought I was going broke. So I did that for a summer, and then I had to swallow my pride and go back to serving just to pay the bills. And doing that would actually lead me to meet Jake Duheim, who's also a graduate from Tradigital Animation. And Jacob came in and was like, "Matt, you want a job?" So I took the job, and that was my first kind of industry job where I was working full-time as an artist, with a salary and vacation time. And that job actually allowed me to build my portfolio over the next year, very focused on character design. So a year into working for him, I had built this amazing portfolio, and I decided to take it down to California to a convention called CTN Expo. Got great response from Disney and Sony, and really thought I had a chance at getting into these studios. So I came home back to Windsor with this energy, and I decided to apply to every studio I could think of across North America. And I took a job with a company called Nerdcore Entertainment, and from there everything snowballed. I came into Nerdcore as a character designer for a TV show called Slugterra. It was a boys' TV show that would air on Disney. And within a year, the studio was offering me my own project. I got to make a show called Kate and Mim Mim, and that show would go on to get picked up by Disney, and the toys would end up in Toys R Us. The cool part about doing what I do is getting to see these characters that I've built turned into toys. And I have nieces and nephews, and they get to play with these, and I created them. So I've decided to step out of the studios and not work in-house and actually go freelance. And in doing so, it's allowed me to actually travel around the world and work from wherever I'm at. So I've taken trips to Central America where I've worked for 3 months, and I just came back from Bali where, again, I traveled with an iPad Pro and I can do my drawings, and as long as I can find some internet to hook up to. So that's kind of the new approach I'm taking, and in doing so, it's also inspired me to start to create a YouTube channel. Hey guys, what's up? Matt here. I hope that people will see this and think, okay, well, you can do whatever you want. You can build the career you want. So I get called an animator quite often. I do work in animation, but what I do is actually design those shows. So I don't physically animate the characters. The performance comes from the animator. They're the ones who move that character and bring life to it. I do the earlier stage. What I do is design what that whole world will look like. My specialty is character design. My passion is character design. I love people. I love people socially, and I love drawing them. I love stealing those little moments, from people's faces and really developing my characters so that when you look at it, you can relate to that character. You can say, I know that, I've seen someone just like that. Or you might laugh or giggle, and that's what I want to get across when I design characters. So I really can't say enough about the people in my life and who have supported me. I really do owe so much to everyone around me. From my earliest days doodling as a kid, my mom, albeit maybe a little worried about what I would do, chasing my passion for art, even though she might not have known what the opportunities were in art. She knew that I would make those opportunities, and that just goes such a far way. The alumni we have coming out of St. Clair College, they've done amazing things. They're working across the globe. They're working on major feature films that you're watching, whether that's the Marvel movies or, if they're illustrating the comics that you're reading. And it's just an amazing bunch of people who have come out of this program. And I think it's a major contender for the entertainment industry. So thank you, St. Clair. And that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, our alumni distinction for media art design, Matt Beaumé.
Well, that's not embarrassing. Oh goodness, good thing I prepared a speech. Oh no, that's not a speech, that's a character of John. It was due. I'll keep this nice and short, but on what I was saying in the video about, I have amazing people in my life. I have an amazing support network. Everyone who lied to me when I was young and told me that I was actually good at drawing, thank you. Last night I arrived in from Vancouver. It was like midnight, got to my mom's house, went upstairs, and she had some of my old work sitting kind of on the floor that I hadn't seen since high school. And I went through that, and I can only be amazed at the fact that people thought I was good back then. And since I was little, they just supported me and just kept telling me I was good, and so I would continue to do this. But I mean, thank you for lying to me, and now I am here and I've had these accomplishments. And the main thank you I want to give is to my mom, who, being a very logical, rational woman, she's an accountant by nature, living in a household full of artists. I could only imagine how nerve-wracking that was. And my path to get to where I am currently, I mean, I was 27 when I finally had any successes in what I actually trained for in school, because I took a kind of roundabout way to do it. She supported me the whole while, and I think she understood that I had a passion for what I was going to do and that I would achieve what I wanted. And now she's my biggest fan. She's the one who nominated me for this, so big thank you to my mom. So that's all I wanted to say.
I'm so glad it was after the salad course. We get close on that? You want to see it?
I want to see. Oh my. This is a keeper. Thank you so much. I would have paid a lot of money for this.
I don't get that back. He's not that great. He worked at Canada's Wonderland. I mean, how much for the frame? Imagine being a foodie known across all of Windsor and Essex County, getting recognized all across Ontario for being a foodie. A foodie. Think of this. Now, of course, you have to have an Italian last name because that puts you up to another rank. But imagine being recognized and not a chef, not someone who works in the kitchen. It was just his girlfriend and him, and they couldn't find a place to go out and eat when they were dating. Here's the story of Adriano Chodley.
I always thought my life growing up was pretty fun. I always had a pretty large imagination, but it was also a kind of a distinct childhood, being the youngest in a family of four, and being a child of Italian immigrants coming here as well. So it was pretty fun and exciting. I mean, even a lot of the traditions and the simple things that we did growing up that you kind of always despised. And now growing up, some simple things like, I shouldn't say simple, but making tomato sauce and it being a whole production with the family. The neighbors would always know when we're doing it because we're out in the driveway, and the driveway would run red with tomato sauce. But as much as you would despise it being younger and growing up and having to do that work, now you kind of long for it and get excited for it. My dad was mainly the one that worked in the family. For all my life, he had worked at the GM transmission plant, which was just steps from our house in the Walkerville area. And my mom was a baker, but I mean, she took time off working to raise the kids. And then once we got old enough, she went back into working and doing in some bakeries in the city. I did want to originally be a chef, but after an accident with a sharp object that kind of steered me away from there, and I knew the next passion that I had was with technology, and I wanted to kind of expand on that. Mr. Glatter always stuck out in my mind for marketing. There was a lot of just little anecdotal tidbits that he would always give from his time, being out in the industry. I would say he was one of the ones that definitely had a bit more of an impact in terms of retaining that knowledge in my head. And another one was Mr. Mullins. He gave a lot of one-on-one time, and if you were available, he made himself available. And that was I really appreciated that as well. And you just treated everyone with respect, which I really appreciated. So Windsor Eats started back in 2004, and it really was an idea that came about as, well, my girlfriend back then, but now she's now my wife. Every time we were trying to go out someplace to eat, we kept going to the same three restaurants over and over again because it was the same conversation everyone does. Where do you want to go eat? I don't know. How about you? And so it kind of presented, or I looked at it as it presented an opportunity. All the listings or whatnot back in 2004 for restaurants were all outdated. There was no information aside from phone number and address and name of the business. And so I looked at that as an opportunity to be able to create something that would be beneficial. If I was needing something like that to help me out make decisions, other people were going to be needing it as well. And so that's pretty much how Windsor Eats started up. And as it really started growing, as restaurants started signing on, my sister Pina was always there helping me along the way. And as it really started taking off and was becoming a bit much for just me to handle, I provided her half of the business to come on board and stay on board and continue the work that she was doing. So as Windsor Eats grew as just a restaurant guide and a menu guide in the region, we started identifying different gaps. And as more people were coming to the site, they were starting to ask us more questions that they're coming from outside of the area, dining in Windsor, what else can they do? And so with those gaps, we started to fill them ourselves instead of relying on other people. There was no real tours in the area, so we started cycling tours to the wineries, which we were fortunate enough to win the Best Culinary Tourism Experience in Ontario for. As the breweries started popping up in the region, we brought the cycling tours to the breweries. We started walking tours, pop-up dinners like our Dinner on a Pier, festivals like the Windsor Craft Beer Festival. So all along the way, as we saw these opportunities and gaps, wouldn't necessarily wait for someone else to do it. We would just seize the opportunity and do what we felt was necessary to be done to help attract people to the area, get them to stay longer, and spread them out to the businesses we were showcasing. We took an old vintage camper and we actually converted it into a mobile bar. So everyone was always on the rage about food trucks. We created a drink truck. It's absolutely gorgeous. We cut out a large open window. We're able to showcase the local breweries, the local wineries, as well as the local distillers in the area. And we actually not just rent it out for people doing weddings, but we actually bring it on the road and bring it across the province to showcase to others, here's a taste of what Windsor has to offer. If you like it, come on down. There's a lot more where it came from. And it's actually been a huge success in being able to draw people as we go to shows like the Toronto Food and Wine Show or the London Food and Wine Show or even Hamilton, and bringing in those visitors to the region. So my wife, Jillian, has been along for the ride every step of the way. And I say a ride because I'm the type of person that completely jumps headfirst into things, and then occasionally she's behind me sweeping up the mess and that I leave in my wake sometimes. I owe her so much more than I could give. Everyone always says when they graduate from high school they want to leave Windsor, they want to go to school elsewhere. I would tell them absolutely not to discount the quality of education that they can get here in their own backyard. The saying that it's always greener on the other side can ring true when in your own backyard things are blossoming here. You just have to open up your eyes a little bit sometimes and then kind of smell the roses along the way. Or the tomato sauce, or whiskey in the air, it's even better.
Our alumni distinction from business, Mr. Adriano Chodoli.
Well, I'm also going to keep it short and sweet. As much as I do talk all the time, I usually don't like doing that too much in front of a large group of people. The one thing I do want to thank is pretty much everyone that has come along, throughout my life, whether they're still around or not, because they all kind of played their part in being able to achieve what myself and my sister have been able to achieve through Windsor Eats. And even with all this the success that we've had from the provincial awards, the local awards, the national awards, all that really comes down to the foundations that the people in your life and the institutions in your life, like St. Clair College from the educational standpoint, kind of lay for you. And without those foundations in place and those people behind you, no one would really, and I know myself particularly, wouldn't be able to achieve the heights that I've been able to achieve, or my sister have been able to achieve. So thank you from everyone, from my family sitting here, my wife, and St. Clair College in particular for kind of bringing me to another level as well with my education. I also want to say, Yes, I don't cook. I clean the dishes at home, but I don't cook at home. But going out and being able to promote the entire region, Windsor-Essex region, not just to the locals, but across the province, across the US and Canada, it's kind of fantastic that it all does link back to St. Clair College, because the amount of graduates and even current students that are working in the kitchens that are from the culinary program here at St. Clair kind of still provides that link for me back and being able to showcase the good work that is happening. So keep up the good work.
Thank goodness for sharp objects. Now back to the food. I got to do this. At caricature, I got to get rid of a couple of chins tonight. I want a before and after there. When you're in charge of education and as a resource of people throughout Essex County, the question is, what do you provide? How much to provide? And understanding what the residents want. A very difficult job when you're a CEO. A CEO who has to give the buffet of learning and assisting materials for a whole community. And balance with that the terms of budgets and municipalities who all work together in a lot of things, but all want something special for them. Our next alumnus of distinction has done just that. Here's our story of Robin.
So growing up in Essex County, it was my parents, so Tom and Gerda Greenall. My father moved here to work with Stanley in Windsor. It was myself and my brother, Tom Greenall. He was 3 years older. So we lived in a subdivision just outside of Kingsville. So my decision to go into early childhood education, I started in high school. One of my first jobs was working for the YMCA in Windsor. So I worked as a summertime counselor, and both at the Y located in Windsor and at Camp Henry at Point Peely. So after high school, I did have a brief moment of going and learning sign language. However, I didn't find my passion there, so I came back and went to the University of Windsor, and my first degree is actually in child psychology. Gathering the early childhood education degree was a requirement, though, to continue into that service. So it's something that the profession was looking for. So that's when I returned to St. Clair College. So I did it so I could expand my own professional development and attain sort of the credentials that the profession was looking for. After St. Clair College, my family, so that would have been my husband and my children and I, we've actually moved back to Kingsville, and an opportunity came available to work with the Essex County Library System. So I started with Essex County Library as a branch assistant, and I was there for 8 years, and during that time is when I decided to go back to school again, and another local school, Wayne State University, is where I received my MLIS. And once I had that degree in hand, an opportunity arose with the Chatham Kent Public Library to be a librarian in information services. So I took that opportunity and went to try that role, and ended up staying there for 5 years. So I've always sort of had the undergrounds or the supports that ECE provided me throughout my work life. An opportunity arose 4 years ago with the Essex County Library for the CEO position, and it was a next step in my career development, and it was returning home. And so I took the opportunity, and here I am today. So Essex County Library is a system of 14 branches. We provide library services to the 7 local municipalities in the County of Essex. We have at least 1 branch in each municipality. We provide information and resource services to all of our local communities. So that's sort of the traditional library services that you would think of, the sort of books and story times and child-based care or story time programs. But in the last few years, you've probably seen a change in library services where the focus is understanding on digital literacy or transliteracy. So we understand that our community now needs support in information services, but through a digital means. And we're just sort of understanding that learning and development is taking on a new role, and our staff seem to be a little hesitant, but up for the challenge to provide that service to our community. St. Clair College, the time I felt the strength of that learning was in the practicum experience. I was lucky enough to attend 5 practicums, and each of them gave me a new lesson that probably a textbook wasn't going to provide me. At the time, St. Clair had its own early childhood education resource center, and the practitioners that worked there had a passion for the job that they were providing, and they taught that passion. So they were still holding on to skills that they once learned, but they were always eager and willing to continue to learn new ways of delivering services and caring for children. And my family today, I have a son who's 24, Logan. He's in Ottawa and off developing his own career and his own journey in life. I have a younger son, Nathan, who too is also just beginning his journey and seeking where he'd like to go into life. And I think it's that nervousness and that anticipation of what next is a reminder to all of us that life always brings on new journeys. And while we think we have a path that we're going down, sometimes that path, takes twists and turns, and that's just the joy of life. And then I have a wonderful, supportive husband, Don Shropshire. He's also in municipal services in the city of Chatham, and he's very grounding. And he understands sort of the demands of the job that I do, and so he's able to provide that support and understanding and care. It's always nice to have that at home, to know that you have a supportive family behind you. So when days get rough, you have sort of the care at home to lead you through.
Ladies and gentlemen, our alumni distinction from Community Studies, Robin Greeno.
Wow, that's a bright light. So who knew the early childhood educator had the rarities group? I'd like to really take time and thank everyone for the opportunity to be here. I was really quite surprised and thankful to have the opportunity and to be acknowledged. I think I was surprised because I really truly enjoy the work that I do. I quite enjoy public service, and it doesn't seem like I'm actually growing or seeking new goals. I just am. I'm just enjoying the time. But while we're achieving, we do have to remember that there are supports behind us, as I mentioned in the video. And one of those supports is St. Clair College. It is where I did learn from many practitioners. And so I am thankful to St. Clair College for my background, but I'm also thankful that they remain in my communities, both my living community, Chatham-Kent, and my work in the community that raised me, Windsor, Essex. So thank you, St. Clair College, for being there and continuing to support our communities and helping us to develop into a stronger economic center and probably a stronger center where people love to live and to grow. Other supports I think we always have to remember are our families. They're the ones that show up to dinners like these, and they stand up for you every time you're looking for someone to support. And I do also have to thank my work family, because those are the people you do spend probably most of your time with. And so when I arrived here, I had people like Linda and Bonnie and Pat who really held my back and showed me the way. And then we had Audrey and Rob, who decided to join our madness and to stay with us. And I'm grateful every day that, you know, when work gets to be work and the skies get to be really gray, that this group can really look up and decide that they're going to see the sunshine. So I thank you for being there and to do that. And I also want to make sure, you know, we all have a good group of girlfriends behind us. So they are there and they continue to be there. So thank you. No one has achievements without a good support. So thank you. Thank you. Thanks, John.
Imagine growing up, look at this. Wow, extra applause. Look at the guy from Chatham, Kent starting that stuff up. You got the job already, brother. You're the husband. Imagine growing up and being encouraged by your father that you'd be great in healthcare, that you'd be great in being a nurse, and constant encouragement that way. Then your journey goes further to get educated and be a part of an amazing, amazing cancer center that many, many in the region, the province and the country on both sides of the border knows about. Let's watch the story of Pam Leszewski.
I grew up in Belle River, attended Belle River Public School and Belle River High School. We come from a family of 5. My father, Harry Dingman, and my mom, Frances. I have an older brother, Lawrence, and an older sister, Debbie. And I'm the baby, but I'm the bossy one. My dad worked at Chrysler, and my mom was a healthcare aide. She worked at Country Village Nursing Home. So I had heard from many different friends and family members that St. Clair College offered a very strong nursing program, and it really prepared you for the real world and to be able to take care of patients and gave you a really strong educational background. So really St. Clair was my first choice. I actually found the nursing program very, very difficult. It was a very hard program. The 3 nursing instructors that I remember the most was Ann Campeau, Irma Watson, and Jackie Toffelmeyer. They were extremely hard on me, but in the end, I really believe that they made me a better nurse because they were hard on me, and they wanted to make sure that I had a very good foundation to continue to learn for the rest of my career. So once I graduated, I came over to the United States to work. I started working at Hutzel Hospital on the orthopedic floor. It was a new floor, and I quickly became the preceptor on the floor, so I was responsible for educating all the new orientees. And when I left Hutzel, I actually transitioned over to the Barbara Ann Karmanos Cancer Center, and I've been in the radiation department for 21 years now. I was a staff nurse. I'm now the clinical leader of the department, and I'm responsible for the day-to-day activities in the clinic. Karmanos is a wonderful institution to work for. I enjoy everything about it, from all the different departments that we have. Everybody is willing to go above and beyond to treat patients. We are a comprehensive cancer center, so we do have access to clinical trials that other hospitals don't. And you know, sometimes things can be very challenging for our patients, but the group of people that work here are just phenomenal in the way they care for the patients. Everybody wants to achieve the best outcomes for the patients, and we're really willing to go that extra mile for everyone. There's a lot of St. Clair College nurses that are throughout Karmanos and the Detroit Medical Center, really throughout Detroit. We have a very strong presence here in the Detroit area. The award that I won last year was the Excellence in Radiation for 2017, and I was nominated by one of my colleagues, Clara Beaver. So we're a member of the Oncology Nursing Society, and we also have a local chapter here. It's called the Metro Detroit Oncology Nursing Society, and I am currently past president, president-elect, and our local chapter is really a great support for nurses in oncology, whether it be radiation, medical, surgical. We really reach out to all of our colleagues, and we provide lots of opportunity for educational opportunities for our members. So the physicians here in this department are also wonderful to work with. They provide the nurses a lot of autonomy here, but they're just fantastic to work with. They really support us. They supported us through all of our research and allowing us to use their patients for that research. Dr. Kim is the physician that I directly work with, and I can tell you that he is phenomenal to work with, and he has supported me through all of my endeavors and my projects, and he really allows me a lot of autonomy to take care of our patients. I think St. Clair offers a great educational opportunity. I do think that the programs are difficult, but again, I really think that it prepares you for the real world, and it gives you that great foundation to continue to expand your education. And education never stops. You need to keep learning. Things are always changing, and you can't become stagnant. You got to keep changing with the times and all the new technology. My husband and I have been together since we were in elementary school, and this year we'll celebrate our 29th wedding anniversary, and he has just been a great supporter of mine, and he puts up with all my quirkiness and some of my strange ideas, and he's just a good supporter of mine, and I'm able to go home and talk about my day with him, and he supports me through that. He helps with the kids, and he's a very hard worker himself, so just a very good family. Well, I have two children, Taylor, and he is 24, and then I have Max, and Max is 20, and I just can't wait to see what lies ahead for my kids. I just love taking care of people and helping them in any way I can, whether it be a medical issue or whether it be an ear for me to listen to and provide them with support. I just love helping people.
Nothing compares to the care of a nurse. Ladies and gentlemen, our alumnus of distinction for nursing, Pam Leszewski.
Oh, it's bright up here. I'm extremely humbled to be standing here in front of you today. If you would have told me over 30 years ago, while I was getting my training, that I would be here tonight accepting the Alumni Award, I never would have believed you. I will never forget the first day on the job at Hutzel Hospital. I walked off the elevator and down a long, dimly lit hallway, and I was so scared. I felt like I was walking to my execution. Remember, I was a 22-year-old girl from a little old town of Bell River, and now I was in the big city of Detroit. The next thing I remember was getting report on the patients and hitting the ground running. There was no time to be scared. There was patients to be taken care of, and I realized that I was prepared to take care of these patients. This was only possible through all of the excellent education that was provided to me. The nurse instructors at St. Clair College are some of the best. They made sure that any opportunity that presented, that they had us there to observe and participate with. For this, I would like to thank the faculty and staff for providing me with such great education and preparing me for my career. I would also like to thank my mom and dad and all of my family who won the bet. They have been my biggest cheerleaders and have supported me throughout this journey. I would like to thank my brother and sister for keeping me grounded throughout this adventure. I would also like to thank my mother and father-in-law and many members of my family for helping me raise our two sons. I have worked many shifts and long hours. Without their assistance, I never would have been able to care for any of the patients. I would also like to thank all of my friends and colleagues. I have never fooled myself into believing that any of this would have been possible without the support of family, friends, and colleagues. I am extremely lucky to work at the Carmanos Cancer Center in the department that I do. It is a special group. I would like to thank my husband and my 2 sons, Taylor and Max. My 3 guys are incredibly special to me. They have been with me through the good times and the bad. They help me celebrate and provide me unlimited hugs. To my husband, David, I would like to thank you for your continued love and support and for taking the time to listen to all my stories. And finally, I would like to thank St. Clair College alumni for acknowledging the hard work and dedication of all the professionals being honored here tonight. I am truly blessed to be part of such an amazing group. And from my world, cheers.
And just so you know, Pam, it's always the nursing people that they lose the bet on. And now our final alumni of distinction for tonight. Imagine being brought up in a home where hard work and working at the same company was just a way of life, growing up on Crawford Avenue. And then to someday be running all of the plants for the Ford Motor Company in Windsor, Essex, the same place where your father spent all his time. Tonight, we celebrate our alumnus of distinction, Tony Savoni. Let's watch.
So born and raised in Windsor, and I grew up early years on Crawford Avenue and lived there till I was about 6 years old. So my dad's name was Vincenzo Savoni, and he had various jobs when he first came here, and eventually he worked at Ford Motor Company also. So he had 43 years, the bulk of it in the Ford casting plant. So he made a good life for the family working with Ford. Mom, Josephine Savoni, she was the homemaker. She made sure that my brother and I were well provided for and got us off to school and made sure that she was there waiting for us when we got off the bus. So that was Mom's role. And the fond memories were that everything was about family. And from there, my brother and I both attended Assumption High School. Probably grade 11, 12, I really started considering what are my options. So as I was looking at St. Clair College, what really intrigued me was I really didn't have to make a decision right away in which discipline of engineering I really wanted to get into. I remember the first semester, there was a bit of mechanical, industrial, and chemical engineering provided. So as I reflect back, I thought, you know what, I'm going to take that, and from there, we'll see where it takes me. So after the first semester, that's when I really enjoyed the industrial technology program, and that was a discipline I chose. One of the key things that I remember are some of the instructors, Isaac Barsky and John Shuttleworth. I really enjoyed the fact that they had lived what they were teaching. So that captivated me and kept me really intrigued when they were teaching, and yet they'd stop and say, so here's an incident I had, and this is how we dealt with it. And it was like real hands-on. And I found that was outstanding for me personally learning. When I got out of school, there was an agency looking to place an engineering graduate at the Essex engine plant. And they were basically looking for someone that would take their plant layout drawings, which at the time were on Mylar, and transpose them onto AutoCAD. So I interviewed first with the agency, and then they sent my paperwork forward, And back in 1987, there I was hired on in the plant engineering department at Essex Engine Plant. Basically, with 2 facilities and 1 here at Windsor, I'll spend 2 days a week here, and then I typically spend 3 days a week at Essex, so I rotate, and that way I can interact with the folks in both buildings, but obviously we're connected. The exciting news on the site right now is that there's a new product going in over at the Annex, which is just next door on the same grounds here. So it's exciting as the equipment's starting to come in. So I'm working with that team also, making sure that our timelines are in order and we progress and make our launch timing. But one other thing that's important to the people is the community. It's the community we live in. And giving back to the community is part of what we do also. It's not just about us inside these 4 walls. So with that, I'm very fortunate. A lot of times I get to go on stage and get the award and be recognized, but it's really not me. I encourage it, I support it, I help drive it, but it's really the people that are working in Fort Windsor that deserve all the credit. As I reflected, why St. Clair College to me it really helped develop me into the person that I am today. Today I could tell someone, take a ride out there and go look. I don't even need to tell you why. If you go in there and you really walk around and really understand the programs that are there and the resources they have to teach the programs, you'll know you're making the right decision. You're going to go into a workplace. You've learned great tools. You may not use them all at once, but when they're required, you know you have them, and use them. Yeah, I have a great support staff at home. My wife Leanne and I will be married 30 years this year. We're very fortunate to have 2 daughters. Alicia's an RN, and Lauren's our youngest, and she's an audiology. So the nice thing about our family still today is we eat dinners together and we travel together still. So I know sometimes people say, well, the kids want to go off and do their own thing. They don't want to hang out with mom and dad anymore. And we're pretty proud of both of them, and we're pretty tight. And that, at the end of the day, that's gratifying when you go home and you still know that we're there to support one another.
Our alumni of distinction for engineering, Tony Savoni.
All right, I have to switch my glasses. So you know who the one that graduated first was? And to Nick and the assembly team that are here, these aren't your cost charts, so don't worry. But good evening. It's my sincere pleasure to be with all of you tonight for the 26th Annual St. Clair College Alumni of Distinction Awards. I'd first like to congratulate my fellow alumni of distinction honorees. To share the spotlight with such a prestigious, diverse group makes this night even more memorable for myself and for my family. Secondly, I would like to thank the entire St. Clair College Board, the Alumni Association, and everyone behind the scenes and here tonight who had a hand in presenting this amazing event. Like myself and my fellow award winners here tonight, St. Clair College itself has come a long way from its humble 1958 beginnings inside a former 2-room schoolhouse on Mercer Street to the establishment of its first campus in 1967. Today, it features 4 state-of-the-art facilities in Windsor, Essex, and Chatham, Kent. Its effect on the Windsor area and surrounding community cannot be overstated, having amassed almost 100,000 alumni members. From its initial 104 students and 4 programs to more than 9,000 students today and more than 100 programs, the rise of St. Clair College has been an incredible story, and I will always be a proud member of the St. Clair College family. I know that becoming site manager for Ford Windsor operations simply would not have been possible without St. Clair College. The education I received there provided me with a vast range of tools that allowed me to succeed in the workplace. As an institution, it helped me directly present opportunities to students like me through its career services department. It was there that I saw the posting for the opening at the Essex engine plant. I applied, was eventually hired, and never looked back. To be now honored by this very institution that gave me and my family so much is something I will never forget. Receiving an award like this is something I never imagined while growing up as just another typical Windsor kid, albeit a Windsor kid who was less concerned about playing with his toys as opposed to figuring out how they worked. Usually there were many pieces all over the house. My mom's here to testify to that. I also share this award with many people in my life who have made my career with Ford Motor Company possible. To my mother, Giuseppina, my late father, Vincenzo, and my brother, John, thank you. Your unwavering support and love can never be overstated. It helped make me the man I am today. To all the teachers who made an impression on me throughout my life, including Isaac Barsky and John Charlesworth at St. Clair, thank you for all your inspiration. To all my colleagues at Ford, as well as our business partners at Unifor, thank you as well. Your hard work, talent, and professionalism makes my job in leading the Windsor site both a pleasure and a privilege. Last but certainly not least, I would like to thank my beautiful wife, Leanna, as well as my two daughters, Alicia and Lauren. This award is something we all share in as a family. I would not be up here without your sacrifices and full support. I love you all and thank you for everything you have done for me throughout the years. Thank you again, everyone, sincerely, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
So that's our story. And what an amazing investment in lives. Tonight we have, just so you know, a couple of things. Tonight we have a table of retirees, the Retirees Association of St. Clair College, who are representing a lot of those names and pictures tonight. We thank you for your foundation that we have all built upon for so many of these students. So maybe a round of applause for our retirees. And tonight, in this audience, are our chairs and faculty and students of the same programs that each of the 5 alumni of distinction, each of them graduate in. So tonight, students, here is your reality. This is what we talk about. Because each of them, as was said earlier, started right where you are. And tonight, they're everywhere. Thank you. Tonight, I want to also thank my office. I'd like to thank Miranda Underwood, Justin Fox, Ann Hetherington, Mike Poirier from Media Services, his team working with us tonight. All the crew here, Joe D'Angela, our chef Carmen, and all the hardworking people, front of the house, back of the house. See, I know all the terms. Of our St. Clair College Center for the Arts. So thank you for being part of our story. And more to come. Get ready. Good night, everyone.